Hello, and we are back with another interview. Sorry for the slight delay. We were having some technical difficulties, but everything was worked out. Please, as you were doing earlier, let us know if you notice any other issues. But we're now here, back to Star West 2024, now with honored by the presence of one of the keynote speakers. Congratulations, Priyanka.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you so much for welcoming me to your webinar. I'm glad I'm here and talking to you.
It's an interview. It's confession time. It's
Sure, sure. Ready to do all the confessions. As you saw that I already did in my keynote.
sadly I missed it,
Oh, you did?
and
Okay.
well, I'm gonna have to ask you what was it about to
Sure.
share it with the people because some people watching probably
Yeah,
did not
yeah.
have the opportunity to watch it.
Right, right.
So, but before we get into keynotes and stuff, I would like to share with the audience that do not know you.
Sure.
Uh, who is Priyanka? What do you do, and why
Yeah,
are you here? What's the
right.
story with you?
Sure. Um, so, as you all know, my name is Priyanka Halder, and I am doing quality engineering for almost 19 years
Wow,
now. Yes, so
respect.
started my career in 2020, 2006. And yeah, going on
Wow,
from there, I worked in India for 3.5 years and then came here for my master's, finished my master's from Scal State, Long Beach, and started working in unicorn startups like TrueCar, GoodRx, Oscar Health, and never looked back. So it
wow.
has been a very interesting journey. How I'm here, so from 2018, I started speaking in conferences, and my first talk, Taming Your Dragon, was a super hit. And I spoke the same topic, I think 18 times that years, all over
Wow.
US. It was like so popular. So that's how it started. And I got invite
And
from,
and what's your first talk?
yeah, that was my first talk.
My God.
Right. And it was about like scaling QA in a startup. And my team did was like an amazing job at GoodRx building the automation framework. So I displayed that in my talk, and everybody was like mesmerized by that. And I got an invite from Allison. So that year I did Star East, Star Canada. And that's how I got associated with TechWell. And again, like after that, I think I came back almost every year to talk in various star conferences. Last year, I did two keynotes in the Leadership Summit, Star East, Star West, and then
Ah.
I spoke in DevOps East as well. And this year, I'm doing this keynote. Yeah, and it's a like it's a hobby, it's a passion to educate community and get educated by. When I'm here and meeting people like you and others and Tariq, it's like so much to learn. And I think to be top of our industry, everybody should do that.
I'm gladly impressed, super happy to hear all this story. Uh, but overall, wow, 18 in a year? Was that
Yeah,
a year?
that year I went crazy. And why I was able to go crazy, because GoodRx had a very good policy that if you are speaking in a conference, they're gonna cover the hotel and travel.
Oh,
So like it was like a golden ticket to me, because every conference that invited me, I said okay fine, because you don't have to pay for my ticket and hotel, I'll come. So I remember going to like Texas, taking a red eye from here because I am local to Los Angeles, giving I actually checked in a motel, a very cheap motel, took few hours rest, and then went and did my talk, and immediately
no.
came to take my return flight and
Crash
came
and
back. Yeah, yeah, I did
no.
that to like Chicago, to Texas. I went all over US and did that talk. I think that was a great year, 2018, 2019, and yeah, it literally took off from there. But I should tell you a secret. You said confession time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Till today, I don't feel like super confident before going for my talk, right? I feel like, oh my God, what I'm gonna tell this audience who already knows everything, that gonna wow them, or that gonna come out from that talk saying, okay, I learned something. But like, luckily, all my talks gets like very high rating, like 9.8, 9.6, and I'm like, okay, mission accomplished. I did something that was unique that they learn. Like the feedbacks are pretty awesome. So like that keeps me going.
Congratulations. Yeah, that sounds amazing. So super amazing. I wish I had all that track, and seems like you have been doing incredibly. Uh, but that you were when you were describing your history, you were like, yeah, and one day like you were like reading your book, like, I should speak at conferences. How did that
Yeah,
came up to be?
that's an interesting story too. So I think like when I built my team in GoodRx, again it was a fascinating story because for that company I started from scratch, built my whole team, and within 3 months my team was able to build a full CI/CD pipeline, which was like
Whoa.
working and running thousands of tests in yeah in production, right? So I think it
Testing
was,
production.
yeah, not sorry, yeah,
Yes.
production, synthetic tests, and staging as well. Sorry,
Good.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we had both. So so when we did that, and like when my team came up with that framework, and there was like lot of interesting part of it. We were doing apply tools, the visual testing, and I started going to this local LA meetup where every like leader will talk, and I said, okay, I want to do that too, right? Like why don't I try my luck? And I still remember telling my staff engineer, either I'm going to be really good or I'm gonna bomb it so bad, like this is will be my first and last talk, and I will just come back from here, because I don't believe in mediocrity. So either I'll be very good or very bad at it. So I took a chance, just wrote. I never thought that like I can write a CFP or anything. So like googled it, wrote my first CFP, and that year I submitted it for Anna Roseman's Test Leadership Congress, New York. That was my first conference.
Wait, what do you mean Google wrote your?
No, I googled it how to write like
Oh, okay, okay,
samples.
got it, got it.
No, Google wasn't that hi-fi that time to write
I was
my.
like,
There wasn't any Chat GPT yet.
where did you find that on those days? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah,
see, I
yeah,
see.
yeah. Like
Sorry.
look at sample, get some feedback like how to do it. So Anna's conference had a very good mentorship program where they picked me up and they worked with me to refine the talk and give me feedback and mentoring, and that's how I started. Yeah. So that was my first conference. But before that, I did a summit for Browser Stack on San Francisco, like the same talk again. And I did a very big networking meetup at GoodRx office as well. So again, like you can tell that I'm very bold. Like I don't fear away
Hmm.
from trying things up. I know I might succeed, I might not succeed, but I will not be shying away from trying it. So that year I thought that I really had a story to tell people that it is possible to take a company who was struggling with quality engineering, who had like nightmarish deployment history, and I and my team came there like a superhero, and we built something within 3 months, which is unheard of. And that automation framework had like 0.5% failure rate. And I know still Joe talks about it like this is a lady. So yeah, I thought like it will resonate with people a lot, and it did. So that's how
Yeah,
like yeah, I started.
for the so many times that it was picked up again and again
Yeah,
and
right, the
again,
same one.
I
Yeah, yeah.
can tell. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna Google how to write a CFP and to land it that at the level that you did. But if I can be curious, can you describe what was that first talk that
Yeah,
totally? What
right.
were you talking about? It was a dragon, but what was
No,
the deal?
the name. So I always give catchy names to my talks. So the name was like Taming Your Dragon. I don't remember the subtitle what I gave, but it was all about building quality in different kind of companies and how to tame that quality dragon, right? Like what are the different tool techniques,
Mm.
strategies you will be doing, what can go wrong, what can go right, and what. And then I would end up with a case study of GoodRx where we say that we did like this, we chose this tool over that, we did visual validation, and I would show them dashboards where it will show up that we have run 2 million tests in production, right? So I was not making things up, I was showing actually browser stack dashboard which shows that we used hundreds of nodes, parallel nodes, which again very unheard in the industry. People do 6 or 7, and we were running like 150 nodes at a time because we wanted to keep the feedback loop under 6 minutes.
What year were we talking about? You said 2018.
2018, 2019.
That's Razor's age of technology on those days.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Wow. And it's very interesting that the people were so attracted and captivated by these topics, especially because even nowadays at times spots and all the Kubernetes and all the
Right,
cloud
right,
technologies at times with testers uh, doesn't resonate much.
right, right,
But
right,
I think things are changing,
right.
things are getting better, and I have a feeling that I can blame you on that. That they are adopting and giving a
Yeah,
better
yeah,
face with what you were teaching. Right? Did you see
right,
any
right.
change?
One thing I want to mention, during that talk, I used to tell on QA. I used to see a pattern in the industry where they will have a job description like, oh, you have to do manual, you have to
The
do
full
release
stack,
management.
fantastic
Yeah, yeah,
creature.
yeah. A creature who comes and who does everything. And I'm like, that doesn't exist. So this is my team. I had like a offshore regression team who was good at doing regression tests, which are needed to be done manually, though we had such a solid automation. But again, new features. We have to catch up on automation, right?
Hmm.
We had BDD for our release teams who are exploratory testers, but they could do BDD and they were taking slow step on learning Python. And then I had a tooling team who was like SDevs, and they are rapidly developing on like the frameworks and giving the power to my exploratory release testing team to do test faster, to learn the automation, because low code no code was not a thing that
Hmm.
time. That was like BDD was the best you could do,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, and I think that resonated a lot with this industry, that she's talking the truth that nobody talks. Like everybody wants to be that cool hype people who said, oh, I know the all, I do it all. But she was actually telling that no, you need to have various kind of layering in the industry to do that,
You
right?
were pioneering against the current, and
Yeah,
yeah,
rebelling.
yeah, you were the rebel,
Right,
but with a cause, because you
right,
had ground to rebel on the reasons that
right,
you
right.
were, and that gives me more curiosity about your keynote. I have a feeling that it was mind blowing, impactful. What was the title, and can you?
Yeah,
Because it already happened, right? It
right, right.
was yesterday.
It was yesterday morning, 10 o'clock. Yes, yes. So again, my
You
topic
can
was
spoil it, so it's already out
yeah,
there.
it's already
Go and
out there.
watch it. It's free on the platform. You can get a better feeling. But coming next keynote, well, past keynote, what is the
Yeah, the
review?
topic was engineering love stories or nightmare. Can QA be happily ever after? It actually went better than I thought it will go. I was again with very self question mark that can I do this in front of 600 people, and I'm glad I'm done with it. So how I started the topic was with a AI song written by ChatGPT, created by I Love Song.ai, which talks about that okay, AI gonna come and solve everything, because my keynote was just after Jason, and I know like Jason had talked about the inflection point where everything is going to be AI. So I started with that song, and after playing that, I introduced myself and I told everyone, come back to reality. This there is time for that, but today it's not the reality. Let me walk you through what happened in QA nightmares, and how can we change that to love stories, right? So yeah, and then I had like all Disney analogy all over the place, like how company wants us to have like magic powers, come and rub a genie and make everything CICD, like rub a
Cool.
magic lamp and do CICD and all those things. So like I think people loved the Disney analogy, because this is the first time somebody was showing QA was so similar to Disney stories, and how we can like think it in that route. So like I went through that. Then I specifically focused on two biggest nightmares that I usually face: test environments and vendor. Right, like what are the nightmares and what are the strategies you can come out of that. And then I had a section where I talked about engineering nirvana. So like what are some of the cool things can you do to achieve engineering nirvana from coming out from that nightmare. So I went through those slides a bit, and then at the end I told them, I talked about nightmare, I talked about nirvana, but one thing you have to do is build a magic wall. And that means is like that which will show you what you're building that actually fetching you ROIs, right? So it's like the magic walls which tells you like who is the beautiful of all, right? Like mirror, mirror on the wall. So like it will tell you, are you there yet with the industry? Right. So I again showed them like what is a single value metric and what is a multiple value metric, and how you can create your dashboard. So ultimately those nirvana recipes or whatever the nightmare you're converting into love stories actually speaks to your higher ups, and you can show them that you're making progress. And there I finished.
I love that you had sounds like even story arcs, Disney characters,
Right.
Any princesses?
Yeah, I had a whole side of all the princesses. So one of the funniest thing I think that landed very well was I said, "Let It Go" song was written by a QA engineer who was under like super pressure that she or he has to finish the testing with less time and
and
release it to production.
and let it go.
Yeah, let it go. I can't hold it up anymore.
I am getting, by the way, some pings from people watching.
Sure,
I
sure.
think people in India might be crazy and happy. Shristi Mishra, I don't know if
Okay,
you know
Shruti
any of
Mishra.
them.
Yeah.
Priyanka's drive inspires my hustle every day. Eh?
Oh,
You're
thank
changing
you.
people's lives. Ujwal or Ujwal, I don't know how to pronounce Kumar Singh. Your journey is amazing.
Thank
So
you.
people are
Thank
reporting,
you. Thank
they are
you.
tuning. Thank you very much for watching this. And
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for the kind words. And this is what I get. I feel like yesterday, okay, I could have done better, and that's how I am. Like maybe I am doing top of the thing in the industry, but still I feel like okay, I have to continuously improve, improve, improve. And when I came out of my keynote, until today, like whomever I have met face to face, they talked about my keynote, they congratulated me, and they said like I had fun watching it or I really liked it. So that gives me assurance that I did well yesterday.
I have a feeling that you did, because
I forgot to
again,
tell you that I was dressed up as a fairy godmother. So I had the fairy
no
godmother cape, and
way.
I had a magic wand in my hand. So like some of the people who saw me, they're like, "Fairy godmother." I'm like, "Yeah."
Cool. It sounds like you have a very good stage presence and that you like to act. And I pictured you
Learned
just
from
almost
you.
like, no, no, no. Uh, uh, you just watched me, and I think mine was after you did your
Yeah,
magic,
no,
literally,
right.
because it sounds like you almost entered the stage. And
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I'm the fairy mother of quality engineering. I make magic.
now I know how to reference if someone asks, like, you know that Priyanka? Oh, the fairy godmother of engineering, yeah, and quality. It's
Right, right.
it's a great title. Is this a talk that you have done before, or
No,
was
no,
just
this is a
crafted for this?
fresh one. Yeah. No, I
Ah.
usually don't repeat my talks. That was the first talk which I had repeated so many times. But year after year, you will see like this year I've spoken twice and both has like different talk. So like to create from scratch.
Did you have a feeling at the beginning that people would be tired of your talk, or like
Yeah,
when the
I
first
always
one that
have the oh like the 18 one. No,
the
the
first one?
because the audience were in very different cities, so I was not presenting to the same
So you were
audience.
like, yeah, they
Yeah,
won't.
they
I
have
don't
not
have
seen
fans
it.
to that
Right,
follow
right,
me
right,
yet.
right, right. Yeah, no. So I not didn't think so, but like again it went again very well. Like when I went to Chicago, I went to Dallas, I went to New York twice that year. I went to Seattle, I went to Canada. Yeah,
Yeah, all the
all
corners,
over.
hard people to follow you, and
Yeah,
none of
and
that was stream, I'm sure,
right,
from those days.
right,
And
right.
so, where did you grab the inspiration for a talk like this? Sounds like lots of magic was going on, but and where do you get the inspirations? Because before dragons and now princesses, and sounds like happy ever afters.
Right, right. So again, I think if I had to say who is my guru when it comes to speaking, it's Angie Jones. Like it,
Awesome
I think
speaker
I
as
have
well.
to mention her because
Did you
she is
meet
the
her?
one.
Do you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
her?
of course. I know
Oh,
her very well, and she was actually mentor for my first talk as well. Like
that
who
explains a lot.
right, right. So um I love like I think she's the only speaker when she speaks, I don't look at my phone at all. Like I am glued to the screen and I want to know like what she's telling next, like what she gonna do next, how she gonna present. And she has such a great stage presence, right? And
Yeah.
it's such a great way of telling story. And I think from her I learned that the analogy is so important, like to tell people like you have to talk a way people have not imagined, like oh that is also possible, right? Like
Mm.
can you seriously think about somebody wrote Let It Go song? It could be by a QA who was pressurized by no resource, no environment, no time to test, right? So think about that and laugh about it. Yeah, so I think it comes from there, from her. I have watched her all talks multiple times, and I still do if I have time. So she's a big inspiration. uh, but I think maybe a little bit of it comes very naturally, where I think creatively, like how, again, from the pressure that I feel like, okay, I don't want people to leave my keynote or my talks. I want them to be very engaged, interactive, and feel like they're listening something that they have not listened before, because here the group is, they're already into this industry for a long time. Very few people are fresher who comes to like star conferences or stuff. That's my feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like it's important to grab their attention, right?
Yeah, I think if, especially star conferences, that you have 9 tracks happening at the same time.
Right,
When someone says like, "I'm gonna opt out of those other 8, and I'm gonna go to Priyanka's one,"
right,
because I know she delivers, and I'm gonna have the time of my life
right,
watching that talk
right,
and learning so much.
right, right.
And speaking of learning so much, what would you say are the messages or the things that you are trying with your presentations, with your talks, to teach the people the biggest lessons that you think they should be grasping, or do you want not only entertained, but
Right,
we
right.
come here to learn stuff, right?
Right, right, absolutely. So again, some of the like the technical stuff that I went through, I definitely want the industry to learn a little bit more deeper about the techniques, very high volume, like companies use. For example, when I was working with GoodRx or Oscar or others, they had like millions of hits on their websites, right? So like they used to run very heavy A/B testing, analytics testing, all those things. My experience says, when I interview people till today, right, people have hardly ever heard about A/B testing, let alone how to automate it, right? Same with analytics testing. Like all of us are very generic. We are testers, we know how to test, but like when this niche skills comes, they have no clue about them, right? Unless like you work for really high volume, high pressure
Hmm.
company or startup, right? So like that's one thing I really want to inspire everybody. Like look through the general stuff and see how you can build your niche in this niche, in this in the QA industry, right? Like how you can learn the next thing that is big before everyone else, right? Like how you can do things really unique way, right, that gonna help your company to get to the next level. Like I have not heard many companies who does like QA test dashboarding, right, which my teams did for 2019. So observability for quality, right?
Yeah.
Very new concept. So again, like it's not enough to just know is your APIs performing. You need to know if you are running millions of tests, are they performing? What time are they down? What time are they up? Is it an environment issue? Is it a real like test are flaky? So all those things. So I think I definitely want to bring those concept out and get it in the community so they learn about that.
You got me thinking a little bit. Why do you think that the QA community doesn't get on board the observability wagon? Because there are so many benefits for QA having observability. Why do you think it's been hard to?
I think because our industry, like every time I see or talk to any QA, they're all under same pressure. No time, no resource,
And
thousands of yeah,
automate.
yeah, yeah. So they're so busy in their mundane work every day. Those cycle hamster wheel, right? They have no time to think beyond that and do something cool, right? So like I had been maybe fortunate that I was in the right place, right time with the right team that I got to build, right? Who what came together, and that's where the magic happened, right? So I would not say that all these ideas were all mine. No, I worked with very smart people in my team who came up and showed me how to do that, but I learned from it and I went over and I kept implementing that in my next and next and next companies, right?
You bring a great point that I don't often think about. Like, yeah, most developers automate. Oh my God, half of my testing suite broke, and the sprint end, and especially now with continuous. Um, you also mentioned very well that some of this A/B testing, all these,
Analytics, yeah.
it's A/B because has testing, and I have seen it being adopted some places. But Canary, Blue
Right, right,
Green,
right, right,
all these release techniques that you very well said, only the Googles or the
right,
big
right.
tech. But most of the organizations are like, Rollback? Why would I want to roll back production? Like, what? But that takes time. No, it takes
Right,
time if you
right,
mess it up and it
right,
ends up in production.
right, right,
And you're right on spot there. And poor teams, sometimes they are overwhelmed.
right.
And in that line, what would you recommend to the teams that they start doing to get over, get better, and start doing? Because, as well, you mentioned that you were fortunate to be in that stage, in that situation. You build that team, you
Right,
build those knowledge and
right, right.
capacities. I don't think you were fortunate. You were kind of on spot.
I think pushing the status quo, right? Like I am still the person who gonna question like why we are doing the way we are doing. Like I don't settle on the word that oh we have always done it that way. That's not the answer I accept as a leader, and I always challenge my team and myself that is there a better way as we are like moving to the AI world and to other world as well, right? So I think being comfortable with like uncomfortable changes is part of our life is the key to the recipe, right? And adopting lot of the latest technologies that is happening. And again, I would give a big credit to Techwell because I get to come to their conferences. I already know some of the vendors who are in the market doing something really really cool. So like lot of time I go back, I run POCs on them, and then I adopt it, right? Like I have worked with Testim, I have worked with Applitools, I've worked with Gen Rocket, like all of them I found here, right? Like which later on Test Sigma, like which later on became like a big partner for me with whom I worked, right? In down the line. So again, I think it's very important you carve some time for like self education, come to these conferences, attend like free webinars. There's so many, right? Like you don't have to spend money if your company does a sponsor, but like have that in you that okay I will not be done and satisfied with my day to day job and think like okay I'm doing a good job. Like if you can have that 80-20 rule where you keep your 20% or you will push that 20% envelope where maybe you will not watch Netflix or something else and you're gonna watch. I was telling somebody that what I do for fun. So I have bought this app which is called Headway. It actually summarizes book. I don't have time to read a whole book. So like in a week I want to get the gist of the top books that in the industry and I want to learn from them. So it just summarizes me books. So in my low time when I'm tired and I don't want to do anything, I just keep hearing those books and it helps me. So another way of like updating myself and being on top in the industry. So something I do.
You just showed it to me on big time on one of the things that you said. The sponsors and all the tool vendors that are here. Now I'm friend with this, all of them. You seem friendly and that like
Right,
you.
right, right, right.
Everybody likes you, but you try them all. I have heard so many teams and organizations. Oh, we got married with one tool and we
Right.
don't touch anything else. Like,
That's right,
no, there
right.
are different uses, different
Yeah,
tools,
yeah, yeah.
and I love that adventureness in you because that's what we had to have and do and learn on her ways. It's super important.
Right.
And to close up, we are just in the last minutes. Where can people find you? Because I have a feeling that many people should be following up with you, many more, because I know that you are very popular as well. Where
Thank
can
you.
people find you?
LinkedIn for sure, where we're doing the live. So LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn. So like, if you want to talk to me, I do mentorship on the side as well. So if you want to talk to me, if you want to discuss with me, lately I have been very busy with my new job, but if I can carve out some time, I would love to spend and groom people for like this coming to the conferences, talking or even implementations or anything. So that's one way of finding me. I am associated with the organization called SheTO.
Hmm?
They work with like women leadership. So you can find me on their Slack as well. I'm pretty active and I try to go to their meetups as well. And if you're local to Los Angeles or you are ever here, give me a shout out in LinkedIn and I would love to grab a coffee with you. Again, I'm very social. I love to meet new people and inspire them. So yeah, always
I
there.
will personally take you up on that. Sometimes I'm back in LA,
Sure, sure,
so I
absolutely.
would love to catch up.
Yeah.
And there you have it, everybody. Here you can see under the screen. Sometimes we don't know how to type some names, and no way to miss it. Get in touch with her. Awesome person,
Thank
the
you.
godmother of
Fairy godmother.
QA and fairy godmother. Yeah. Fairy part is super important. The wand. So,
Thank you.
Priyanka, thank you so much
Thank you.
for
It was
coming.
pleasure
It's been
chatting
a
with you.
pleasure, and I look forward to seeing your next talk or your next adventure. I'll be
Sure,
very
sure.
interested because sounds like the creativity juices flow like crazy over there. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
And there you have it, the fairy godmother of Q engineering. Uh, it's an awesome journey that we have been having today with all sorts of fantastic fantasy creatures, fairies, and gurus, leaders, and women figures to inspire more women. Follow her, be like her, get inspired by her, and reach out and come to more events like this. Don't miss them and stay tuned because this is not over yet. We have one more for the day, one more interview. We are going to be talking with our amigo David Millet in a few minutes. So stay tuned. Star West 2024 doesn't end yet. Two more streams, and there we will be done. But for now, Leandro out, Priyanka out. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Adios.
much. Bye.
Adios, everybody. Take care. Gracias.